Yep, you read that right. Cinestill 1600D. And no, it's not a new film stock, but it sure does feel like it. Welcome back. Pushing and pulling film isn't really my thing. I shoot my Kent mirror at 400, and I take my coffee.
No thanks. I don't drink coffee.
But after stumbling across a YouTube comment suggesting this film's high ISO potential, I just had to give it a shot. My consensus on 400D was that it was fine. It was cool in 120 to have an alternative to Portra, but in 35 I rarely went for it, instead choosing for more consumer stocks like Gold, Ultramax, or Color Plus. 400D just was a little too unpredictable, a little too crunchy for me overall. High ISO films seem to be a thing of the past, and while this boy can dream for the day that Ektar 1000 will be available again, we gotta deal with the cards that were dealt and the film in our fridge. With a couple trips on the calendar, it was the perfect time to set out and try something new. The first trip was with my buddy Jacob out to Pittsburgh, a city that had left me really impressed last time, and a bit of a soft spot after I made some great photos there. So we set out, on that long stretch of I-76, not stopping for nothing. Well, we did stop.
Roll up. Oh, call 911.
Falling Water was our along-the-way pit stop, and it was definitely worth the visit. My last trip out there, I missed it on account of oncoming snowstorms, but this time around we were sure to make the most of it. First getting out there, I loaded up the soon-to-be 1600 ISO film at a scenic overlook to really put this landscape potential to the test. And these results are really good. Obviously there's some grain. We're shooting at 1600 ISO, but it's not as chunky as I was anticipating. Held up really well, and there's some hints of good potential here in the colors. Definitely a lot more interesting than just plain old 400D. Unfortunately, due to the policies on site regarding photography, I don't want to share the full images with you guys. But what I will do is show a couple snippets so you guys can get an idea of what the film looks like as the light improved a little bit. You can see here that the tones still hold up really well. The colors are really pleasing and the grain is not overly aggressive. Again, this is all working with limited light though. In the city, I managed to snap a few shots. Most of them were shaky. Given the cloudy day, I wasn't really super happy with a lot of these. Though the one shot at the end of the roll of a Pittsburgh classic, P-Man's, did stand out, even though it was shaky. And for all of you that are worried, yes, there is still halation. And for you guys following at home who may want to give this a shot, all the full-size images are available on my website. You can go ahead and take a look and compare them for yourselves to see just how you like the look. Everything was scanned with my DSLR scanner and converted using Negative Lab Pro as well. After Pittsburgh, I wasn't really blown away. Only a couple of the shots at Falling Water where the light peaked out inspired a lot of confidence in this. Luckily, the next trip would have a lot more light. I was heading to Austin, Texas for a family wedding and be spending some time in the city beforehand. Plenty of time to walk around in great light with a new film. So, on one of our outings, I loaded up the good stuff, cranked that ISO dial up, and got shooting.
Thanks, bro. don't know, where are we going next, guys? The taco joint? You guys hungry? Do you want to... I mean, I don't want to eat really late, so we can, by the time we get there...
On my LX for the trip was the HD50, which I've gushed about in a previous video. Interestingly enough, I actually think there might be less grain in 35. Some of these results are surprisingly smooth considering the ISO. Admittedly, most of these shots aren't great, but that's not on the film's fault. I was still getting a feel for the area as I was walking around, learning what's what and where the light fell, and really just trying to take some good sample images. And let me tell you, 1600 ISO is very freeing. I understand a little bit those Natura prices. Only a little bit. If you pay $80 for film, you're psychotic. As always, sample images on the website, and let me know in the comments what you think about these. Especially if you've worked with pushing film like this before. This is really one of the first times I've pushed film, so I was pretty impressed by the results. I'd always taken it as a much more experimental procedure that never really produced more professional results. But I do think there's a lot of potential here. Frankly, this is a bit of a game changer for me. All in all, I was never really impressed by 400D. Yeah, it was cool to have a new film stock on the market, but it didn't really seem to fit a niche that didn't exist already. It was not significantly cheaper than the competition, and the results were honestly too inconsistent. But with high ISO potential, it really opens up a lot of options. I think that the colors and tonal range of this film really even out when pushed. It's a lot more pleasing to my eyes, at least. And while I'm not going to dump my whole fridge and fill it with 400D, it is a good tool to have in the toolkit. A couple cons are that pushing film is expensive, most labs do charge extra for it, and 400D, well, less expensive than Portra, is still a pricey film. That being said, I do think that this is something that's pretty accessible to most people. 400D is on a lot of shelves, and pushing film is fairly easy to do if you only do it once. So I recommend you give this a try. I'm really curious what other results people get, how it looks, what they think about it. And who knows, this might be the new way to get high ISO color film. Aside from an increased cost in developing, the only real issue I see with this is that it does still need a good bit of light. Cranking up the ISO dial isn't suddenly going to give your camera night vision or turn cloudy days into golden hour, but you already knew that, especially if you looked at the Pittsburgh shots. So definitely if you give this a try, do it in light, maybe golden hour or even blue hour with a long exposure. Could look really cool here. So go out and give it a shot, or 36, and let me know what you think. I'm really curious to see what people can get out of this, and hopefully send a little note to those film manufacturers that we do want high ISO film. But till then, see you next time.